Polo, a word that is very much at heart with every enthusiast. This car was launched in 2010 and trust me, has got more engine options than the entire Maruti Suzuki's portfolio. But we are in the year 2022 and we have overcome the goddamn pandemic. So what is this old boy doing today and especially on this channel? We are going to find out just that, and if you are looking to buy a Polo, this video is just for you. We will tell you everything about from its performance to its fuel efficiency to its handling and everything in between. So if you like this video, subscribe to the channel and also hit the bell icon. Out on the exteriors, the Polo is quite reminiscent of the older models. There have been some certain changes that have made it more appealing than the previous iterations of the car. As you can see, there are twin barrel headlights now that were not present on the earlier models. The design of the Polo is quite understated and it doesn't fail to impress still. The rivals have really grown up and we have seen multiple generations of the i20 and the new Ultras in the market as well. But this car still retains its charm. However, you cannot miss technology in that because it doesn't get LED headlights, it doesn't get projector fog lamps, it doesn't even get LED DRLs for that matter. So all these things make some sore points for the Polo, but as a driver's car, there is nothing better than this. And even its understated stance still grabs some eyeballs on the road. You know what, the back profile, the Polo GT TSI have got some changes. First of all, we have got a rear spoiler that is finished in gloss black. Other than that, we have some side skirting around the sides and also a rear diffuser that looks prominent. Of course, it is Fox, but it uplifts the overall sporty stance of the car. One additional thing that has been given to the PS6 facelift of the car was a LED tail light. These are GTI inspired and looks amazing in the night. A bit of shame with the Polo is that it doesn't even get a reverse parking camera, given the infotainment system already supporting through that feature. It is also offered as a dealership fitment, but Volkswagen doesn't offer it with a standard package. So that would have been given at this price point. With that being said, it's time to hop inside the vehicle and know everything about it. And later on, we will also drive the car to tell you how it performs on our Indian roads. There have been only two major changes inside the Polo. The first being the new steering wheel. This one is draped in leather. It is very smooth and has a very great texture. Another change being the touchscreen infotainment. This one measures in 7 inches in size, gets both Android Auto and Apple CarPlay along with Volkswagen Connect. It is a fairly easy to use touchscreen infotainment but doesn't feel very fluid at times. Suppose if you are using Android Auto, it may struggle sometimes. But nonetheless, it's a very easy to use system. The speakers are also of good quality, but you cannot expect Bose levels that you get in the i20. So that's one thing you should keep in mind. The overall fit and finish of the cabin is what has always been. It's simply amazing. The textures, the quality of materials used, everything is built to last, and you generally feel the ruggedness inside this cabin. Even the door cards are very solidly built and feel built to last. In the door itself, we get a large cup holder where you can store your bottle, a 1 liter bottle. Here we have the lock and unlock switches, and the Polo still gets proper unlock dials, which are really sporty to look. Here we have the indicator controls along with the cruise control, and here we have the wipers, the typical Volkswagen we have seen all these years. We have the automatic climate control here, and we also get two knobs, one for the volume and one for the tuning function, with which you can also operate the infotainment. We have the rear defogger and traction control as well. And overall, the fit and finish levels are really great. One more additional change which has been made to this new facelift of the Polo is the new fabric for the seats. The texture on the seats is inspired by the earlier GTI that was on sale in the Indian market. So if you have ever sat in a Polo, you would know that this is not a very spacious hatchback. It is always meant for 2+2 seating layout. I am 6 feet tall. The front seat is adjusted to my driving position, and I can barely fit in. My knees are scrubbing to the seat and are going inside it. There is a big floor hump in the middle, despite it not having any all-wheel drive or something like that. No, there are also no rear AC vents. So all in all, this is not a family hatchback. So if you are looking to travel with a family by putting 5 people abreast in the car, that is not happening, because there is not so much space inside the car, as you can see. But one thing I really like about this car is that it is a very fundamentally sound car. One quite a nifty touch that earlier Volkswagen always used to get is the one touch up and down for all the power windows. But it's a pity that new Volkswagens doesn't come with these features, per se the Kushaq and the Taygun. Both the SUVs lack on this particular feature. That has always been a trait of Volkswagen. So that should have been offered with all the Volkswagen cars. So now we are on to the part you have been all very excited about. That is the driving pleasure of the Polo GT TSI. This one comes with a 1 liter TSI petrol engine that is a 3-cylinder unit. notice instantly the moment you start driving this automatic gearbox is the urgency on offer. The moment you step out of the brake pedal, the car lunges ahead. That is quite unnerving at some time, and it may catch you off guard sometimes. So it is something of getting used to. It's not a fundamental issue with this gearbox, but once you get going, this feels really smooth. Shift quality is also really sharp. In a nutshell, the TSI powertrain coupled with a 6-speed torque converter is the best unit you can find in the Indian market in a hatchback. There are other hatchbacks in the market as well, like the Eltros I-Turbo or the i20N line. Those could fare better in terms of features and looks, but this one, as a sole driver's car, is best of all. Unlike the i20, this is a free-revving unit. The red line goes till 6,500 RPM, and you can shift gears at that time as well. In the sports mode, it feels really responsive, and no matter in which gear you are, at what RPM you are, you can just slow the throttle and the car will respond to your inputs and start accelerating in a straight line. Despite having only front disc brakes, this one doesn't get the rear disc brakes. The braking performance is really good. There is no sense of nose driving or any hesitation. It steps from dead center without losing its line. Coming to the part that every Polo owner begs for it, that's the handling. We have taken this car to a lot of twisties in the Aravali Hills, and it never lost its line. It stays dead planted, and no matter how hard we tried, the grip was astonishing. That's also not because of the chassis balance of this car, but also the good air assurance tires it gets shorted with. Talking about the rubber size, it gets 195/55 R16 tires. That is shorted with, of course, the gunmetal alloy wheels that look amazing in the day. If you are an enthusiast, you will surely appreciate the stiff nature of this car. But over potholes or bad patches of the road, it does feel stiff. But that doesn't mean that you cannot live with it. The ride is not jarring. It just feels stiff, but it stays planted, so you never feel like you are being tossed around or anything like that. As we all know, the 1.0 TSI is a downsized version of the 1.2 TSI we had on offer earlier. This one, being a 3-cylinder, has a thrummy nature. In the city, you can feel some vibes on the steering wheel, but those are not prominent. The refinement levels really improve once you go up the pace. It only feels evident when you are on the city limits. On the highways or at high speeds, the engine doesn't intrude in the cabin at all. Talking about the steering response of the TSI, the power steering unit is quite slick to use. It is quite direct and offers ton of feedback. But under the city limits, when you are doing U-turns or making roundabouts, this tends to feel a lot heavier than it should be. It's not to do with the feel of feedback, but in the mid corners or in the mid turns, this feels excessively hard to use and could intrude in the daily driving. Small bits like the overall visibility, the ergonomics are all sorted. This being a German car, we don't have to talk about it. The overall ergonomics and everything is spot on. There is nothing to complain there at all. In a nutshell, the Polo GT TSI is a phenomenal car, only if you are an enthusiast. If you tend to keep a car for long and if you have a big family, you may have some better alternatives in the market. But this car is a driver's delight, and you will never ever feel shortchanged with this car. So if you have been with me till now, you would surely notice my love for the Polo TSI. Its new 1.0 liter TSI engine is really exhilarating to drive and offers tremendous performance despite not being too harsh on the pocket. It is coupled with a torque converter gearbox that is equally fast when compared to the earlier DQ200 DSG, and still gives tremendous reliability and also a peace of mind that you would surely appreciate in the longer run. The powertrain is the sole highlighting factor for the Polo that makes it stand out from all the competition. The i20 could give you more space, the Eltros could give you better styling and safety, but Polo, as a complete package for the enthusiast, is a tremendous value for money. This car is priced at 99.99 lakh ex showroom Delhi, and you will be setting back yourself at around 11 lakh on road. So if you like this video, I'm sure you would have, please like this video and also subscribe to the channel.